Hey peeps, we're doing an unboxing of the Dark Angels Tarot today. This is like actually a re-unboxing because way back in the day, we seem to just be going down memory lane in April of 2023 together. But way back in the day, I had purchased this deck and loved it for some time. Definitely there are a few downsides to this deck, but I enjoyed this deck for a long time. I ended up donating it, I don't know, in one of my moves. And I had a client the other day bring their copy of Dark Angels Tarot to the session, and I was like, I miss that deck so much. Never mind the fact that there's the infamous Robert Smith court card, and I was like, why don't I have this in my collection anymore? Like, I need this deck again. So I went on Etsy and I purchased this copy there. I'm not sure if Amazon has this deck in stock at this point in time. I know it does tend to go out of print, and so I will put the link to the Etsy shop that I used to purchase this deck. She had a very reasonable price. It is brand new, it's nicely packaged, and so I thought we would unbox it together because it's like goth life, right? It's like, this is like one of those ultimate goth decks. I think if you are darkly inclined or a goth person at heart, you end up needing this deck, right? So the deck is by Luca Russo, and there's the cover image, and on the side we have various representations of the cards, and the little back blurb says, as the world spins slowly beneath a dying sun, the dark angels descend to walk the wounded earth once again. Taking upon themselves the passions and desires of mankind, they witness the last strange flowering of humanity as time itself spirals down into darkness. And I really feel like we should be listening to Joy Division while we open this, or Ritual Howls, but copyright infringement. So just imagine that's what we're doing. Okay. So it's a low Scarabeo deck, guys. The box is, you know, flimsy. It's not going to last forever. I do want to show you the image reproduction on the back there. And I'm just going to take the plastic off of this. If I recall, the guidebook has some interesting kind of, sometimes I look at the Scarabeo little white books as like storytelling prompts for each card, and that you can kind of take the little blurb that they share and write your own story if you are so inclined when you are, you know, doing your daily draw or looking at your guidebook, meaning for a specific aspect of your spread. So I'm just gonna take the little blurb off, and I'm going to put the little white book to the side for the moment. You all may remember this kind of iconic backing. So the card size for comparison, here's Line Strider Tarot. So it's typical traditional Scarabeo size, a little bit thinner width-wise. Okay, so this is very like crow-esque to me. The cardstock is that kind of like shiny, typical, you know, what we would expect from Scarabeo there. Love this High Priestess. And I do, this is the card reproduction on the front of the box. I do love this Empress too. I think it's a really unique version of the Empress. Here we have the Gandalf Emperor. I believe I posted an unboxing or a review of this deck back in the day. So if I did, I will put that link in the description box below, as well as the link to the Etsy shop where I purchased this for this go round. Here's our Hierophant. The lovers. I mean, if you love goth music, if you love those kind of like great 80s horror movies, or vampire movies, this deck is just a great one to have in your collection. Is this like a life-changing deck that's going to make sense of things in your life and be this really in-depth deck that you study with constantly? Not really, honestly, but it's a deck that's relatively easy to work with because it is in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, and it's just enjoyable for the artwork, right? Like, it's just enjoyable for the artwork. And if you do like darker themed decks, then this is one that you might want in your collection. That depiction of the devil I find really interesting too, with the masks, and I like that. I like that offering. The star is pretty. We have the moon. And here's the world. And then we move into the cups. So the trumps have a like a yellow gold backing. The cups have a red. I do like this 5. I do like that 5. I'm not against that 5. We've been just bringing back the oldies, right? Archeon, Dark Angels, Deviant Moon. I feel like I'm going back in time here. It's really fun. I feel the nostalgia piece, that 10 of Cups is cute. The nostalgia piece is really enjoyable for me. It's kind of cool to be this far along in my work with tarot, to be able to say, oh my God, you know, 10, 11 years ago, I was working with that deck. All right, so here's the infamous Robert Smith. He's the King of Cups, of course, even though Robert is a fellow Taurus. But I understand why they assigned him the King of Cups. So now we have the Pentacles, and this is this kind of like ochre tone for the borders. It's nice if you're starting with tarot, that they are kind of color associated for the suit that they're with. There's the 8, and then the 9 is, I don't know how I feel about the 9. What do you guys think about this 9 Pentacles? You guys know this is one of my important ones when I'm doing deck reviews and speaking to if I like the feel of the deck in general. I don't know, I kind of don't feel either way about that 9. Like this, I like this Queen of Pentacles a little bit better than the Deviant Moon one. And I do like that King. Gives like rough edge, kind of like Marilyn Manson on the album where he has the song If I Was Your Vampire. I don't know if that's the name of that album or not, but it gives a little bit of those vibes. So now we move into the wands, which have this kind of cadet blue or grayish blue. It's the 3. The feel of that 4 is interesting. I gotta sit with that one. And I do really like the 6. I can't stand the 7. It's fine, I'll get over it. Oh, I remember, I love this 9 of Wands. Ah, it's so hard. It's so hard now. I'm like, oh, this 9 of Wands is good too. And I love the Deviant Moon 9 of Wands as well. So here is the 10 of Wands also. That's a really gorgeous depiction. This is an interesting queen. Then we have another Marilyn Manson-esque, like the Disposable Teens era. And now we move into the swords, which are a kind of like a softer blue. That's the 3. I am not my favorite depiction of the 3. I'm not even going to lie to you. Here's the 4. There's a correlation between this 4 of Swords and Ian Daniels' 4 of Knives. I'll try to remember that I want to do a video on that in the near future, because there's something that both of those images speak to that I think is a sub-theme within the 4 of Swords that we don't really talk about all the time. There's the 8. I like this 9 of Swords. Not my favorite 10 of Swords. I do like this page. It's cute. I have the knight. I think if there is a video still up, I've never liked this queen. Like, what is that? Not aesthetically anything I want anything to do with. And then there is the king. So that is the deck as a whole. This is straight up nostalgia factor for me and a little bit of Robert Smith. And hey, it's a darkly themed deck. You guys know that I'm going to just, of its very nature, want this deck in my collection again. I'm actually really happy to have her back. And I'm excited to be able to use her. I will do another full review down the road when it feels right, of course. This is just the re-unboxing, unboxing times 2. But I just love this deck for the nostalgia factor. It's definitely not one that you absolutely need in your collection. It's very easy to read with it Rider-Waite-Smith style. And if you're new to tarot, I think you could work with it in that way. Work with it very easily with a Intro to Tarot or Tarot Basics, Tarot 101 type of book. So there's a little depiction about the Dark Angels, discussion about the Dark Angels and how they're a gateway. And then he has like 1 or 2 spreads, and then there are the card meanings. You can see you're not getting like a whole ton there, but you are getting a little bit, a little paragraph. And then for the minors, you get just a sentence or 2. So it's not, you give it a read over, but don't attach to, I wouldn't worry about stressing about that little white book too much. I would really work with this if I was new to tarot with a Tarot 101 deck. And I think you'd get a lot out of that. This is a really fun deck. If you are, again, if this is your aesthetic, then you're going to enjoy this deck. Other than that, like, I don't think that this is one that you absolutely need in your collection, or that you would, really be missing out if you don't have it. So my thoughts after my unboxing are, I love this deck for the nostalgia factor, and I'm really excited to read with her. Is she essential? No. Will I keep her this time around? Absolutely. So I hope you're all doing well out there in the world. I'm sending you much love and many blessings. I'll see you in the next video.